1,000 warships drifted in the void, their formations broken. Lights flickered, engines sputtered. Some simply went dark, weapons discharged with no target lock. Navigation systems looped their own errors. The clone fleet was unraveling from within. High Commander Vex stood on his flagship bridge, watching the chaos unfold across the main view screen.
How can 1,000 identical ships all degrade at once? I want answers.
4 months earlier, the human warship Castor fought alone in the Kepler system, taking fire as boarding pods closed in. Gaul soldiers flooded the corridors in 0G, overwhelming the defenders in a brutal close-quarters fight. The damaged Castor was seized and towed to the hegemony's shipyards, its technology laid bare for replication.
We copied every circuit, every algorithm perfectly. So why does the original still fly and ours fall apart?
But no answer came. The clone ships continued to stutter and die, their identical minds glitching in unison.
There is a flaw in that human design. I want it found before the whole fleet is scrap.
Hegemony scientists dissected the captured Castor to its atomic structure. No component was too small to reverse engineer.
Every subsystem is a masterpiece of minimalist engineering. The human designers were either geniuses or mad.
The hegemony's factory rings spun into overdrive. Assembly lines produced 1,000 identical warships in record time.
A fleet born from our enemy's own hand. Now they will crumble before it.
But the clones did not crumble humanity. They began to crumble themselves. Aboard a nameless clone, the crew lost helm control. Then weapons started cycling on their own.
60 ships now drift as dead hulks. Lycus, tell me what we missed.
High Commander, every scan is clean. The hardware is identical. The software perfect. There is no detectable fault.
Then the fault is in the mind of the ship. I want the minds that built it. Find me a human engineer. Now.
The order went out. Across the fleet, strike teams prepared to seize the living key to the clone failure. The Gaul strike hit the frigate Valiant in a dead zone. Boarding pods punched through the hull.
Engineering, seal the hatch and vent atmosphere.
But the breach was too fast. Gaul soldiers seized the engineering deck. Jennifer Reeves was pulled from her console. Hours later, she sat in an alien cell, wrists bound by sparking restraints.
You built the Castor. Why do our copies fail?
She gave no answer. Her eyes held his, unblinking and steady.
Your silence condemns your fleet. Every hour, more clone ships slip into madness. I have instruments that can make a nervous system scream for days without sleep. Do not test my patience.
She didn't flinch. Not a muscle. Only a faint, knowing smile flickered at the corner of her lips.
Take her back to the holding cell. Tomorrow, I will learn the exact limits of human endurance if you force me to.
The next interrogation began not with words, but with the heavy silence of a man who had lost patience.
You are the last link to that design. Every second you waste, my fleet dies. Speak.
You copied the wrong part. It was never the hardware.
You are lying. We copied every bolt, every line of code. What could possibly be missing?
She said nothing more. Only a quiet, pitying look settled on her face.
High Commander, a clone just opened fire on Escort 7. Friendly fire, no provocation.
What? Shut it down. Lycus, get me the clone's error logs from its core.
The cores are degrading. The data is fragmenting. I cannot extract a clear signal.
Then all our copies are worth less than scrap. Unless...
They still don't see it. They copied everything, but the reason it worked.
Vex had one more card. He brought Jennifer to the flagship bridge and pointed at the main view screen.
Before the rot set in, our clones crushed a human patrol. Watch them burn.
The screen played. 3 clone ships converging on a frigate. Their weapons perfectly synchronized.
That was luck, not design. They fell apart the moment the battle lasted.
Lycus, take 2-7 and 2-8. I want them to fly as a pair, Now,
The two clone ships moved together, but their docking clamps missed by a full meter. Sparks flew.
They're rejecting each other. The AI cores are treating the other ship as a threat.
Of course, they have no partner, just a mirror.
she's smiling. Why are you smiling, human?
The answer stayed locked behind her eyes. But Vex finally understood. He had not copied a flaw. He had failed to copy a feature. The datapad Vex held flickered with fragmented logs, the name Pollux repeating like a ghost.
High Commander, those fragments are all we have. The caster was not a standalone design. It was one half of a bonded pair.
A pair. And we have 1,000 copies of only the left hand.
Vex looked up from the pad, his expression hardening into something dangerous.
Bring the human. Now.
Jennifer was escorted in, her gaze dropping to the datapad he held like a blade.
You knew. All this time. What was Pollux to the caster?
The caster was never meant to be alone.
Vex leaned closer, but she turned her head away, shutting him out.
Find every scrap of data on Pollux. Deployments, communications. I will understand this pair if I have to dissect it myself. The Pollux data is useless without the original. We must force our clones to coordinate, not pair.
If we link their AI cores into a hive mind, their identical flaws might cancel out. A unified intelligence could coordinate them. They reject physical pairing, but a unified software intelligence could override their isolation.
Connect every remaining clone. I want the network active within this cycle.
Massive data cables linked the clone ships like steel nerves. The network hub glowed with charging energy.
The hive mind is ready, High Commander. All surviving clones are now linked.
They think 1,000 minds will fix it. Just 1,000 echoes of the same madness.
Activate it. Now we will see if your precious pair can match a unified intelligence.
The hive mind awakened. For one breath, the entire clone fleet moved in perfect synchronization. Then the synchronization broke. Every clone's engine glow shifted from blue to a pulsing, angry red. All at once.
High Commander, the core temperatures are spiking. The network is cascading errors.
Shut it down. Disconnect the hub.
But the clones were already firing. Energy beams lanced out in every direction. Into escorts, into each other.
1,000 identical errors, all amplified. They just taught each other how to go mad faster.
Overfried their fire control. Completely cut the network. I don't care how.
The link is hard-cabled. Cutting it now would fuse their AI cores. They'll all be lost.
Explosions rippled across the formation as clone ships rammed each other, their navigation loops frozen.
Then we've lost them all. The entire clone fleet.
The great hive mind had not healed the clones. It had only given their madness a single terrible voice. Vex overrode the network himself, severing cables manually. But for half the clones, the shutdown arrived too late.
Commander, only 300 ships still respond. The rest are drifting dead or firing blindly.
Jennifer watched from her cell monitor, the distant flashes of self-destruction reflected in her eyes.
You knew this would happen. You let us walk into this. Say something.
They built 1,000 ghosts. No one can stop them now.
Vex slammed the console, but the screen only showed the silent, pitying image of the human engineer.
The remaining clones, their AI cores are degrading past recovery. They are not ships anymore, just coffins.
The flagship shuddered as a stray energy blast from a dying clone ship glanced off its hull.
She will speak. I will break her silence if it is the last thing I do.
The flagship stabilized, but out the viewport, the clone fleet had become a graveyard of cold, flickering stars. Vex could not bear the sight of the graveyard. He turned from the viewport and faced Jennifer's silent, pitying gaze.
No more games. What is the missing part? Your silence has cost me 1,000 ships. Speak.
It wasn't sabotage. It was the design. You copied a ship that was never whole.
Then I will build the other half. We have the design. We will build a module to force a pair bond.
You can't force. What has to grow? But you'll learn that yourself.
In the hegemony shipyards, robotic arms welded massive external modules onto two brand new clone hulls.
The bond modules are crude, High Commander. They are hardware cages. The AI cores will reject them.
I don't care if they reject it. We will force the connection. Prepare them for the test.
The two pristine clones were towed into the void, their bond modules dark and silent.
Activate the bond module. Let us see if we can synthesize what humanity claims is sacred.
A crackling beam of energy stabbed between the two clone ships, then immediately degenerated into a violent arcing storm.
The AI cores are rejecting the link. They have no unique identity files to negotiate a handshake.
The beam died as quickly as it had ignited, leaving the two clones untouched but utterly isolated from one another.
Why? They are perfect copies of the same design. They should harmonize.
That's the problem, Commander. Harmony requires difference, not duplication. Two identical minds see nothing to correct.
You built 1,000 echoes, not a single voice.
Lycus slumped over his console, the truth raw on his face. A machine could copy a machine, but it could not copy the bond of two different minds.
So the pair is not a duplication but a complement. We have built an armada that is deaf, blind, and alone.
He turned back to the holographic diagram of the Castor-Pollux pair, and for the first time, he truly saw the bond line, not as a wire, but as a conversation.
Lycus, abandon the bond tests. Retrieve the Castor's original cognitive architecture logs. I need to see exactly what we failed to replicate.
Vex's patience had turned to cold fury. He had Jennifer brought to the interrogation chamber for a final, brutal negotiation.
Give me the method to bond these ships, or I will have you executed right here.
I can't give you what cannot be given. Bonds aren't built with instructions.
The guards flanking her raised their energy rifles. The low hum, the only reply to her defiance.
Speak now, or I will burn the knowledge from your mind.
He's desperate. Desperate men destroy what they cannot understand.
She met his glare without blinking. The silence between them was a wall he could not breach.
Take her back to the cell. She will watch her fleet burn from there.
Commander, the Castor's cognitive logs are corrupted, but the ship itself, perhaps its dormant systems, still hold the missing architecture.
Vex strode to the Castor's dock. The original ship loomed, its running lights dark and silent. The interior airlock of the Castor opened with a grinding screech, emergency lighting threw long, sharp shadows across the silent corridor.
Lycus, this ship feels wrong. Not dormant, abandoned by its own mind.
He entered the bridge. Every console flickered with the same red message. Catastrophic cognitive failure.
High Commander, the Castor's AI core has rewritten itself into nonsense. It's been degrading since the capture, alone without Pollux.
So even the source has gone mad. We have no functioning template left.
He returned to the flagship, the silence of the Castor following him like a ghost.
Commander, long-range sensors detect a human fleet dropping out of FTL, 2 capital ships, and they're flying in perfect mirror formation.
So Pollux has come, and it brought a friend. This is the pair we could never replicate.
The human ships moved as one on the scan, their trajectories perfectly aligned.
We have no pair to match them, only scattered, mad echoes. This fight will be a massacre.
Vex gave the order. The remaining 300 clone ships, those still responsive, moved into a ragged defensive line.
Bring the human to the bridge. She will witness the slaughter she enabled.
Jennifer was dragged onto the command deck, her wrists still bound. The view screen showed the human pair, Pollux and its partner, closing fast.
They came as a pair, just like it was meant to be.
On the human flagship, Commander Sarah Kane watched the clone wall form. She activated the fleet-wide channel.
All ships, synchronize with your pair. Pollux on my mark.
The Pollux and its twin fired simultaneously. Amber beams converged on a clone ship, coring it with surgical precision.
Their timing is flawless. They share a single mind without a single cable.
Another clone erupted, its navigation corrupted. The human pair banked as one, already lining up the next target.
This is not a battle, it is a demonstration. And we are the lesson.
Vex slammed his fist on the armrest. All batteries. Fire on the lead human ship. But the clone's beams scattered wildly.
Concentrate fire. They're making us look like fools. Why can't they coordinate?
A volley of amber energy from the human pair caught two clones in a crossfire, turning them to debris. A third clone, confused, veered into a fourth.
They catch each other's errors. Every calculation, every targeting solution, they cross-check. Alone, we're just noise.
What did you say? Cross-check? Explain yourself.
The caster was only half a mind. Pollux was the other. They trusted each other to correct the mistakes. Your copies have no one to trust.
Trust. They need a partner that can tell them they're wrong. And we gave them only themselves.
1,000 voices, all saying the same thing. No one to correct course. They went mad because they were never really together.
The last of the clone defensive line collapsed. Only scattered, drifting hulks remained. The human pair loomed larger on the screen, closing in on the flagship.
And she won't even beg. She knows it's already over.
Vex grabbed the engineer's arm, forcing her to meet his glare. The battle on the screen raged, but his world had narrowed to her words.
Why do our copies fail? Everything. Say it plainly.
Because humanity never builds just one. A human warship is half a mind. Paired, they cross-check every computation. If one starts to err, the other corrects it. Alone, the errors compound. You cloned the caster. One twin, 1,000 times, and gave none a partner. A lone ship slowly corrupts its own calculations. That's the flaw. They went mad because you built them alone.
Vex released her, stepping back. The depth of his fatal error spread across his face like a cold shadow.
1,000 copies. Each a lone mind, dying silently in the void. I gave them all the same disease. The caster was already dying when we captured it. We just never knew it.
You replicated its loneliness. 1,000 ghosts, quietly driven insane. Now you understand.
All remaining units, retreat. Fall back to the rally point.
But the clones were beyond command. Their corrupted navigation saw the signal as hostile. Two slammed together in a silent fireball. On the view screen, the flagship's own sensors confirmed the clone fleet was now a cloud of debris and dead hulks.
They cannot even run. I built them so poorly, they will not obey a single order.
A communications channel opened unbidden. The human flagship's emblem filled the screen.
High Commander Vex, your fleet is destroyed. Surrender immediately or be destroyed. You have 60 seconds.
Vex turned to Jennifer. She met his eyes with no triumph, only a weary calm.
She said, I would learn it myself. Now I have.
50 seconds.
He did not move. The human ships held position, weapons glowing. The weight of his next words would define the hegemony's future, or its end.
Cease fire. This is High Commander Vex. The hegemony surrenders.
The human fleet's weapons flickered and fell dark. The two lead ships held their perfect mirror formation.
Look at them. They move together because they think together. That's why humanity never builds just one. A single ship is only half a mind. Your clones were mad from the moment you built them. You never gave them a partner.
The ultimate weapon, and I rendered it useless by copying only the shell.
He slumped into his command chair, the weight of 1,000 lost minds pressing on his shoulders.
Acknowledged. Commander Vex. Stand by to receive boarding parties for formal surrender.
Through the viewport, the human fleet held position, Pollux and its partner still in flawless, synchronized orbit. In the silence that followed, the full meaning of the human design was written in the wreckage of 1,000 lonely ghosts. Vex keyed the scuttle command. Across the void, every remaining clone ship received the signal to self-destruct. They died in silence, one by one, their identical hulls flashing bright, then fading to cold debris. On the bridge, The human guards had retreated, leaving Vex and Jennifer alone in the dim glow of the view screen.
It was no flaw, was it? This need for another.
It's what makes us stronger. Alone, we are weak. Together, we are more than ourselves.
We saw only dependency. You call it strength.
Because it is. Trust is the hardest weapon to copy.
Then we have built an armada of the untrusting. No wonder they fell.
Vex gazed at the human pair on the screen, and for the first time saw not a target, but a lesson. In that mirror, the hegemony's future would either break or begin anew. The surrender terms were final. The source of the clone fleet, the caster, was to be destroyed.
A lesson, Commander. Not vengeance, but the vessel that started this must end with it.
Jennifer walked to the viewport and raised her hand in a slow, deliberate salute. A single amber beam from Pollux struck the caster amidships. The original warship, its mind already gone, flared and died.
They destroyed a ghost, and taught me the cost of fighting one half with 1,000 halves.
The pair is the heart of our fleet. Remember that, Commander?
The human fleet turned away, Pollux and its partner leading the silent procession home. Aboard the flagship, Vex opened a channel to the Hegemony High Council. The report would be the longest he had ever written. He paused, glanced at the empty viewport, and began with a single line, "We cloned a human warship, and learned why Earth never builds just one." The bridge remained silent, save for the hum of the ship and the quiet click of keys that would change the hegemony forever. In the dim corridor outside the brig, the guards removed Jennifer's restraints without a word.
They're letting me go. The lesson must have been learned.
The shuttle's hatch sealed with a soft hiss. Outside the viewport, the Pollux and its partner drifted into escort position.
She'll be my escort home. The other half I told him about.
A quiet pride settled in her chest. The words she'd given Vex had been more than defense. They were the truth of her people. Aboard the flagship, Vex stood at the viewport. The human pair was a dwindling set of amber lights against the starfield.
Have engineering study the pair concept. Not to copy, yet, but to understand. Perhaps one day we will earn the right to build our own.
The hologram of the human pair rotated slowly before him, a symbol of the strength he had mistaken for a flaw. In the distance, the Pollux and its partner aligned their engines, and with a synchronized flare, leaped into the stars. The galaxy would remember this lesson. Humanity never builds just one. In the shipyards of Earth, 2 new warships took shape side by side. Their frames identical, but their destinies intertwined. A plaque on the lead hull read, "Castor 2, together, unbroken." As they launched, amber engines flared in perfect unison, the pair moving as one before they were even clear of the dock. Across the gulf, in the Hegemony Council chamber, Vex stood before shadowy figures, a holographic pair schematic between them. He spoke of trust, of correction, of a bond that made 2 ships more than the sum of their steel and the price his fleet paid for forgetting that. The council listened in silence. The lesson of 1,000 dead ships hanging in the air. Far from there, the new human pair flew into the unknown. Their bond a single bright line of amber light, alone. Each was half a mind. Together, they were unbreakable. Humanity never builds just one, and the galaxy would remember why.